Ladies and gentlemen, since we are doing the Varga charts, it is time to introduce one of the most important topics or one of the most important part of our life known as Vivaha, marriage. So I'm going to have two extensive lectures on marriage, D1 and D9. And also, I will tell you how you see multiple marriages in a Kundli. So if there is one marriage or two marriage or three marriages in a Kundli, or people will ask you that I'm divorced and how will be my second marriage. So some people will come and say that, okay, I uh, had lost two of my marriages. How about the third marriage? So how we will see the third marriage? So all these concepts in a very technical and a scientific way, I'll be explaining it to you. So before we go ahead, I will also be explaining you what is Vivaha, the types of Vivaha that are given in our dharma, in our shastras. There are several types of marriages. The planets involved, in those types of marriages. And I shall also be discussing about the importance of the seventh house. Seventh house is not only association, it is so many other things as well. So we'll discuss that, and then we'll discuss about, how do we look at the first marriage, then the second marriage, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, right? So we can look at, the marriages in a Kundli. So let me hit the whiteboard straight away without wasting the time. And everything that I'm going to teach you today, these things are, basically the part of shastras. Okay, and timing of marriage is something that you will learn, probably after 10 lectures, when you will master few things. Also, you don't run, you will fall. Okay, so we'll first discuss about what is marriage, what is Vivaha. So when we, see, Vivaha is not a English word. Okay, Vivaha is something which is a Hindi or a Sanskrit word. So we write this as a Vivaha. Okay, it is extremely important to understand the meaning of this word first of all. See, Vaha basically means Vahan. Okay, Vahan. And you all know what is a Vahan. Vahan is a vehicle. Okay, Vahan is something that carries you. Okay, so you are going to travel with your vehicle, right? So something that carries you. You carry something, right? And Vahan or Vahan is also known as flow. Okay, so these are the meanings of Vivaha. Vahan, vehicle, something that you carry, flow. Okay, bearing someone. When you bear something, bearing someone is also the meaning of Vivaha, right? Bringing something. When you bring someone home, bringing is also another meaning of Vivaha. Producing is also the meaning of Vivaha, right? So this is the meaning of Vivaha. Vaha, if you take, this word Vaha, a lot of say Vivaha, okay? So Vivaha, Vaha is known as flow. It's like flowing. It's also known as movement. Okay, so flowing, movement is all considered as Vivaha. Okay, flowing together, moving together in life, carrying each other, bearing each other, bringing each other in life. Okay, and then producing things together. This is the meaning of marriage. Okay, association, Vivaha. Now, ladies and gentlemen, why we see marriage from the seventh house? What makes you see? We have the first house here, okay, And then we have the seventh house. This is your Lagna. Okay. And this is your Asta Lagna, seventh house. Actually, if you think that you are rising here, you are setting here in the seventh house. This is inside you, intelligence. Okay. This is you, but this is outside. Have you heard of that statement that says, दो शरीर और एक जान है हम, all those things? This is something that you are outside. You get so connected to someone when you become a parent, when you become a father or a mother. You start feeling yourself in that person. You start feeling, but that person is not inside. That person is outside. You can see yourself. You can see, your emotions with that person. You can't, if you really like someone, if you really want to spend time with someone, you can't even think of separating from that person. Just like if you separate from your soul, you die. In the exactly same manner, if you separate from that person, right, you can't even think of it. Something which is exactly opposite to you, right? And you surrender in front of that person. What is marriage actually? What is the meaning of surrender? This is something that parents always tell to the daughter कि जैसा तुझे वो खाने को देगा, जैसा वो तुझे रखेगा. या even if the parents doesn't say these things, the girl can say it to the boy and the boy can say it to the girl. The groom can say it to the bride and the bride can say it to the groom, that the way you will live, I will live. If you are rich, I would love to live a rich life. If you are poor, I will still be with you all the time. Basically, marriage is asta. Asta means you yourself is surrendering. Asta. You've surrendered with the circumstances of the other person. And you are ready to live with that person under any circumstances. If you are sick, if you are not feeling well, if you have health issues, you have problems, you still wanted to live with that person all the time. That is surrender. That is why seventh house is also Marak. You know what? I told you in my previous lectures that you are made out of your sixth house. कुंडली का जो छठा भाव है, उसके कारण आप बनते हैं. अब आप बोलोगे कि कुंडली के छठे भाव के कारण हम कैसे बनते हैं? मैंने बताया था कि आपके जीवन में जितनी भी षड रिपुज हैं, जो भी आपने अपने जीवन में काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, अहंकार, क्रोध, ये सब चीजों से जो आपने कर्म किए, वो अभी सेटल होने बाकी थे और इसके कारण आपका जन्म हुआ. सिक्स्थ हाउस, इसके कारण आपका जन्म हुआ है. और जब आपका जन्म हुआ, तो अगर आपका ये सिक्स्थ हाउस है, इफ दिस इज द सिक्स्थ हाउस, the second from the sixth house is actually the seventh house. And second in the seventh house, the second from the sixth house is where your maximum karmic settlement is happening. Maximum karmic settlement. I ask you a question. Why do you want to settle in life? Why do you want to have money? Why do you want, to have children? Because, you keep saving, in life. For whom? For family, for children, for your home, not house. So, marriage is licensed to physical relations. Calm, krodh, you can also fight. Lot of fightings I've seen after marriage, lot of anger I've seen after marriage. Why? Because it is the settlement of the sixth house. At times you start feeling as if your husband or wife is like an enemy to each other. Why? Because it is the settlement of the sixth house, inimical thing. At times you have so much lalach that you should get this property also, that property also, we should save, we should get the money, lobe, and then the children come in life. You have so much attachment with the children. That is moha. So all the shadripus are getting settled in the seventh house. Everything is settled here, and that becomes the highest karmic settlement. The highest karmic settlement in somebody's life becomes the seventh house. And vivaha is something which, according to me, is known as responsibility. So seventh house is always misunderstood. Seventh house is the house of responsibility. So if you think that you want to see someone, that someone will be responsible or not, what you are supposed to check, tell me, the seventh house. It is not, is he a responsible person or is he an irresponsible person? If you have a destroyed seventh house, okay, that person is never a responsible person. If you have a very, very strong seventh house, that person is a responsible person. Remember this. So seventh house is not only partnerships. Seventh house is not only, your marriage. Seventh house is a house you look for any kind of responsibility. Is this person a responsible or a fool in any sphere of his life? You look at the seventh house. Is this person a selfish person? Which house, which grahas will tell that this person is a selfish person? It is the position of the grahas in the seventh house, the lord of the seventh house, the placement of the seventh house, the dispositor, the placement of the dispositor of the seventh house will tell you. And you know what? Seventh house is also known as the daya bhava. दया करनी किसी पे. Remember this, daya bhava. Because you know what? Marriage is also actually a kind of a mercy. Daya. When you are fighting with your spouse, the only way you can forgive your spouse is अगर आप उस पे दया करते. If you have mercy on your spouse, that is the only way you can forgive your spouse. There is no other way. So you had a huge fight and you're sitting alone and you're thinking that how should I forgive this person? The only feeling that you should have is the daya, mercy. अगर दया है तो माफ करोगे, अगर आपको उस पर दया नहीं आई तो आपका डिवोर्स हो जाएगा. अगर दया आ गई तो माफी मिलेगी. और आपको पता है कि कुंडली में कौन सा ऐसा कॉम्बिनेशन होता है जो आपको दयालु बनाता है फॉर योर मैरिज, फॉर योर पार्टनर? मुनि पराशर कहते हैं कि अगर सेवंथ हाउस में सिर्फ एक मेलेफिक प्लैनेट हो, just one malefic planet in the seventh house can make a person dayalu. Malefic planet, not the benefic. Benefic planet in the seventh house will make you a person who will never forgive. याद रखना मेरी बात. अगर आपका बृहस्पति बैठा है सेवंथ हाउस में, चंद्रमा बैठा है 7th हाउस में, शुक्र बैठा है 7th हाउस में, बुध बैठा है 7th हाउस में, आप अपने स्पाउस को माफ ही नहीं करोगे, माफ ही नहीं करोगे आप. इफ यू हैव बेनिफिक्स and if you have malefics, you will still not forgive. I'm using the word malefics, sir, malefics, more than one malefic. If you have only one single malefic, like if you have only Mars, or you have only Saturn, or you have only Rahu or Ketu, only one malefic, you will forgive. If you have more than one malefics, you have Saturn and Surya, sorry, Saturn and Sun, you have Saturn and Mars, then you will not forgive. It is a clear said that if you have one malefic in the 7th house, or your 7th house is aspected by one malefic, you will forgive your life partner. You will have daya on him. You will have dayalu. You'll be very, very dayalu. And you know what? How do we know this? We know this from looking at the chart of Shri Ram. Shri Ram was Manglik. He had Mars in the 7th house. And he kept forgiving, but in the end, Sita Maiya has to go. लव कुश जंगल में पैदा हुए, फिर उनको क्षमा किया, फिर परीक्षा लेने लगी, तो वो जब परीक्षा लेने लगे तो वो सीता मैया से बर्दाश्त नहीं. So one malefic planet in the 7th house can make you dayalu. But if you have benefics, no, people say, oh, look at this chart, 7th house, she's got Venus, she's got Jupiter. And do you think that wife will forgive you on your mistake? Even if she forgive you for a moment, she will keep things in her mind. She's not going to forgive you, or he's not going to forgive you. When the time comes, when the opportunity comes, that person will hit you back. That person will give it back to you. That is why people who have Jupiter in the 7th house or any benefic grahas in the 7th house, they do not get married easily. Their marriage, especially Jupiter in the 7th house, the marriage get delayed. Because you are, you want maybe 8 out of 10, or you want 9 out of 10, or you want 7 out of 10. You don't want 4, 5 out of 10. You can't pass someone easily in your life. You want good score of the opposite partner. That means, you are not, sun is malefic only, my friend. It is not mild malefic. It is malefic for the 7th house. You will not be able to, accept 6 or 7 marks. You need 8 or 9. Because you are so spiritually inclined for your spouse कि आपके लिए जो spouse है वो भगवान है, और spouse तो कभी भगवान हो ही नहीं सकता. Spouse एक वो रिश्ता है जो आपके कर्म कटवाने के लिए आया है, और वो आपको बहुत दर्द, तकलीफ और पेन देने वाला है. और शादी के बाद जो भी चीजें आने वाली हैं जिंदगी में, वो आपके कार्मिक सेटलमेंट को रिप्रेजेंट करने वाली है. और कार्मिक सेटलमेंट को रिप्रेजेंट करने में सुख तो कोई नहीं होगा. हाँ, थोड़ा बहुत सुख भी होगा, हनीमून पे जाओगे, अच्छे मोमेंट्स बिताओगे, और फिर धोखा भी खाओगे. सबसे ज्यादा दुख कब लगता है? जब हार्ट ब्रेक होता है. सबसे ज्यादा दुख कब लगता है? जब आपको ये लगता है कि आपके हस्बैंड की गर्लफ्रेंड है, या एक हस्बैंड को पता लगता है कि उसके वाइफ का बॉयफ्रेंड है. That is the time, and it is a karmic settlement. It is a pure karmic settlement. It is the most difficult relation in this universe because it is second from the 6th house. And it is 12th from the 8th house. It is going to hit your longevity. It is going to destroy your longevity. It is 100% going to destroy your longevity. You are going to die for your family by worrying. You keep worrying about your family. You keep worrying about your relationship and you die. So basically, what is this seventh house telling you? What is the message of the seventh house? The message of the seventh house is to mellow down. If you don't mellow down, right, your karmic settlement will not be completed. Seventh house is the house of Asta Lagana. Ast means mellow down, surrender. Seventh house will break you either ways. Either it will break you in love or it will break you in sorrow. Both the ways, the seventh house will break you. If you love someone, definitely you are going to mellow down. If you really love someone. If you are sad, you are still going to mellow down. The seventh house is a house that will help you mellow down in the either ways. Up to you and up to your karma, up to your prarabdh, sanchit, all prarabdh and sanchit karmas. Now there are several types of marriages that are seen as per the shastras. I will be telling you those several types of marriages, and then we move on to the concept of first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, fourth marriage. So basically, there are 8 types of marriages that are written in the shastras. How many types of marriages? 8. Always remember this. And each marriage has a concept. Each marriage has a planet involved in it. So the first type of marriage is known as the Brahma Vivaha. Brahma Vivaha. The second one is Deva Vivaha. Deva Vivaha. The third one is also known as the Arsha Vivaha. Arsha Vivaha. The fourth one is Prajapatya Vivaha. The fifth one is Asura Vivaha. The sixth one is known as Gandharva Vivaha. The seventh one is known as the Rakshas Vivaha. And the eighth one is known as the Pishacha Vivaha. Let me just Pishach. Vivaha. Pishach. भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आए. पिशाच विवाह. Brahma Vivaha is a vivaha when a groom marries a bride or a bride marries a groom due to the abilities and skills of that person. you look at the skills of that person, you look at the ability of that person, and you marry that person. That person may not be very beautiful, may not be very handsome, but looking at the skill, the ability of the person, the talent of that person, you marry that person. When you Deva Vivah is when you marry your teacher, or a priest, or you find someone in a function, and that that, okay, I met this guy. It is not love. Somebody introduced, and the families met, and we got married. You did not look at the skill, the ability. You didn't understand anyone. Just we got a rishta from a function, from a public place, and you got married. Okay, later on we discovered that the skills and abilities were not there. So at times here you can marry a priest, and priest is nothing but a guru. When you marry your own guru. Arsha Vivaha is again when you marry your teacher or a professor. Purely teacher or a professor. Here it may not be a priest or a guru, but he can be a person who met you at a function. So purely Arsha Vivaha is marrying a teacher or a professor or a guru. That's a pure thing. You fell in love, you got attracted towards your guru, and you married. Prajapatya is you got married to someone because of the progeny. You wanted children, you wanted family, you just got married. There are many families, many marriages that happens because of the progeny. I've seen that this such marriages are. I saw someone that, why do you want to marry? Because he wants a son. Wow, that was the answer. उन्हें एक पुत्र चाहिए, इसलिए वो विवाह करने वाले. And there is a planet behind it. There are planets behind it. Asura is when you marry for money. Gandharva is when it's like a love marriage. Lot of sexual pleasure is involved. And later on, when that finishes, the love finishes. Rakshasa marriage is like Ravan want to do with Sita, kidnap kiya. Today also in somewhere in Rajasthan and some other, villages, if you like a girl, they will kidnap and try to forcefully marry with that girl. Marriage out of fear. Marriage out of insecurity, misusing the insecurity of someone. And Pishacha Vivaha is when you marry a prostitute. That is known as a Pishacha Vivaha. Or, you marry after someone, you raped someone, and then you married that person. You married, you went to maybe a massage center, and you had good friendship with that lady, and then you eventually married that lady, because the relationship started out of the seduction. So what planets are responsible? Whenever you have married someone because of your skill and ability, the planet behind that thinking, that thought process is Jupiter. Remember this. Let me change the color. So that is Jupiter. Remember this. So ब्रह्म विवाह अगर किसी का जीवन में होता है, बृहस्पति करवाते हैं. At a function, party, you meet someone, you get married, the planet is the Mars behind it, desire. You had so much desire, you were not getting anyone. जो मिला फटाफट से शादी कर दी, बाद में पछता है. बहुत बार ऐसे होता है. When you marry your teacher or a guru, it is the moon who is making you do it. Remember, moon did the same thing with Tara. When you're doing it for progeny, it is the Surya Devata, sun. For money, it is Mercury. Mercury is making you do it. For love, sexual attraction, it is the Venus which is behind your marriage. And for this kidnap and insecurity, and because of the rage you're marrying someone, is all because of Saturn. And this Pishacha Vivah is because of Rahu and Ketu. These are the planets behind various marriages, the types of marriages. So which is the best one out of this? The best marriage, as you can already, you would have predicted this, is the Brahma Vivah. When you marry someone based on the ability and the skill. He may be your guru, he may not be your guru, he may be anyone, irrespective of who he is. You marry someone based on the ability of that person, the skill of that person. That is the best thing. I want you people to remember this, because we are going to use it when we are going to predict a lot of things for or around the marriage. When we look at various Dara Karaks, oh, this concept can be easily used when you're looking at Dara Karak. You have to apply these concepts in the Dara Karak concept. But we'll not do it today, we'll do it later on. So, ladies and gentlemen, now since I have told you the types of marriages, this was very, very important to create a base for you people. Right? Now we go to how we look at marriage, and then we stop the class, because I will give you time to digest few things. We have so many concepts for marriage. You'll be able to understand just by looking at a Kundli within 10 minutes that this person will have a good marriage life or not, or this person will have what. Do you think this person should marry with this person, or one should not marry? In matchmaking, in Mangal dosha, Nadi dosha, Bhakut dosha, Graha Maitri, Gan dosha, you'll be able to understand that beside having these doshas, can this person still marry? And I've seen very successful marriages where they had all sort of doshas. Gan dosh, Bhakut dosh, Nadi dosh. And still they had a very successful marriage. So ladies and gentlemen, look at the screen very carefully. Next 10 minutes, you will learn a magical concept. First marriage. Seventh house. This is only marriage, ladies and gentlemen. And this is you. Now, the new you, Nitika Narula is now Nitika Chitkara. So Nitika is a new Nitika. And that persistence of the marriage is in the 8th house. You'll people say life after marriage. This is new Lagna. This is your new Lagna. 8th house. your new in-laws, your new surname, your new family. 8th house. Do you all agree to this? Life after marriage is 8th house. You were Sharma, now you are Gupta. You were Gupta, now you are Rajput. Your 8th house is extended family. Now that is your family. So you become that family. You become that part of the family. Now something goes wrong here. आपकी setting ही नहीं हुई. That family did not accept you. You did not accept that family. Your life after marriage was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. Now you separated, divorced. People know you from this name. They know you from this name. Now you've separated, fine. Now you want to marry. Your second marriage. There are fools who say that second marriage is seen from the 9th house. No. Exactly opposite to the 8th house. You know, the 7th house. Or the second house. So the second marriage is going to be seen from the second house, because this became your lagna. This was your lagna, and marriage is seen from the 7th house. So exactly opposite to this is your second house. So whenever you want to look at the marriage, the second marriage, you are going to look from where? You are always going to look from second house, because it is exactly opposite to your life after marriage. So your life after marriage is 8th house, right? Exactly this doesn't work. You go to the second house. Now, how will you see the life after your second marriage? This will show कि शादी होगी कि नहीं होगी. अब वो शादी कैसी होगी? क्या सेकंड मैरिज बचेगी कि थर्ड होगी? You go to the third house. Third house is the persistence of your second marriage. मतलब life after second marriage. So life after second marriage is seen from the third house. Oh, my third house did not work. You know, my third house is bad. Lot of problems there. मेरी दूसरी शादी भी टूट गई. Simple. Exactly opposite to the third house is the 9th house. So 9th house will tell you your third marriage. And life after the third marriage will be shown by the 10th house. Oh, my third marriage did not work. What will I do? Look at the house exactly opposite. Fourth house. Fourth house will tell me about my fourth marriage. And life after the fourth marriage is the 5th house. My fourth marriage did not work. 5th marriage, exactly opposite, you see, is the 11th house. So 11th house will tell you about your 5th marriage, and life after the 5th marriage is going to be 12th house, and so on. Simple. Have you understood first house, first marriage, second marriage, third marriage, fourth marriage, and 5th marriage? Somebody walks in and said, Navneet sir, this is going to be my third marriage. How will be my third marriage? Which house should I look at? 9th house. और थर्ड मैरिज के बाद जिंदगी कैसी होगी? 10th house. Navneet sir, how will be my second marriage? I'll straight away jump to the second house. And life after second marriage, third house. उसकी भाव अवस्था देखो, उसका भावेश देखो, उसके ऊपर राशि दृष्टि और ग्रह दृष्टि किस किस ग्रहों की है, क्या कॉम्बिनेशन बन रहे हैं, आपको सेकंड मैरिज के बारे में क्लियर इंडिकेशन हो जाएगी. और यही प्रिंसिपल हम नववांश में भी लगाएंगे. We will also take input from the Navvansh also, but that is slightly different from this. which I will not teach you today. I want you to digest this today so that I can take you to somewhat more sophisticated combinations and calculations. There are techniques. There are several techniques to understand that which planet is going to create the event of marriage. When will marriage happen? But before that, you have to understand that how will be the married life. Because first question a lot of people will ask is how is my married life? And then you tell good or bad, then they will ask you when can the marriage happen. They are not going to ask you when can the marriage happen and how is the married life. Only people above 30, 34, their first question is when the marriage will happen. Their second question is how it will be. And it is vice versa for the people who call me and ask me before the age of 30. They will ask me how is the marriage going to be, and then they suddenly, by smiling and by feeling shy, they ask me when will it happen, kab hogi, when it is going to happen. There is a difference between the question, priority of the question depending on the age. A lot of people keep asking, how many marriages I have. Oh, I see the 7th and the 8th house is destroyed, and then I see the 2nd and the 3rd house is good. The bhavavastha, the bhavesha, the drishti, the graha drishti, everything is good. That means the second marriage will be successful. Oh, the 7th and the 8th, the 2nd and the 3rd is bad. 9th and 10th is good. So what will I say? I will tell this person that you are already divorced. You are going to do second marriage with this person to whom you are going to get married. I want you to marry twice. Simple. When you marry twice, you reach the third marriage and you save your marriage. For this person also, वो क्या कर रहे हैं, कुंभ विवाह करवाते हैं. लेकिन बेटर ये है कि आप अपनी शादी के 3 महीने बाद दोबारा शादी कर लो उसी पर्सन से. वो आपकी सेकंड हाउस और थर्ड हाउस को एक्टिवेट कर देगा और आपकी शादी बच जाएगी, अगर आप बचाना चाहते हो तो. अगर आप नहीं बचाना चाहते तो लेट इट गो. किसी के साथ डिवोर्स ले लेना या डिवोर्स हो जाना कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है. इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल. इट्स अ कार्मिक सेटलमेंट. हो गया हो गया. ये भारत की संस्कृति है जिसने इसको हवा बना के रखा हुआ. दिस इज पैथेटिक. आप किसी के साथ नहीं जीवन काट सकते, नहीं समझ में कोई इंसान आ रहा, व्हाई टू मेक योर होम एज अ तालिबान. सारा दिन लड़ाई झगड़ा कलेश, कभी इधर से फायर कभी उधर से फायर. व्हाई? Just move on. Let this person go to hell and you also choose a hell. Simple. Find your own path. If you meet someone again, that is fine. If you don't meet someone again, that is still fine. But don't kill yourself by living with a person with whom every single day is a burden, with whom you don't feel that frequency, with whom जब आपको किसी के ऊपर दया आनी बंद हो जाए ना, जब आपको किसी के ऊपर मर्सी आनी बंद हो जाए, आपको उसी दिन वो रिश्ता तोड़ देना चाहिए. और वो तोड़ना क्या चाहिए, वो टूट ही जाता है. जिस दिन आपको किसी पे दया आनी बंद होती है, उसी दिन वो रिश्ता टूट जाता है, खत्म. इसीलिए सप्तम भाव को दया भाव बोला जाता है. क्या बोला जाता है? दया भाव, मर्सी. इतना दुख, इतनी तकलीफ, इतना दबाया गया, इतना रुलाया गया, इतना आपको खत्म किया गया कि आपको उस इंसान पे दया आनी बंद हो गई. कुछ हो जाए दुनिया, सारी माँ बाप, सारे रिश्तेदार चाहे बीच में पड़ जाए, वो रिश्ता नहीं बचेगा. आपको आपके लाइफ पार्टनर को कहीं पे तकलीफ है, दर्द हो रही है, पेट दुख रहा है, सिर दुख रहा है, गला दुख रहा है, आपको दया नहीं आ रही उस पे, आपकी शादी अंदर से टूट चुकी है, इसका मतलब. सिंपल है। किसी के मैरिज के योग नहीं होते, वो शादी नहीं करते सारी उम्र, वो देयर आर सेवरल योगास। संक्रांति योगा इज वन ऑफ देम। The seventh lord is Surya sitting at 0 degree. I have seen people not getting married easily. There are several yogas. I have charts with me, क्योंकि ज्योतिष भूषण का जो हमारा एडवांस कोर्स है, इसमें हमने 100 चार्ट डिस्कस करने। उन चार्ट्स में आपको कम से कम 10 चार्ट ऐसे दिखाऊंगा मैं, जिन पे हम विवेचन करेंगे कि जिनकी शादी नहीं हुई, वो शादी करना ही नहीं चाहते। वो करना इसलिए नहीं चाहते क्योंकि ग्रह उनकी कुंडली पे, थॉट प्रोसेस पे काम कर रहे हैं और वो शादी नहीं हो रही, उनकी शादी हो नहीं रही, क्या वो शादी है ही नहीं उनके भाग्य में, वो करना ही नहीं चाहते। अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी का आप चार्ट देख लीजिए, you'll get the answer. If you want to look at somebody's not marrying, delay, there's an extreme delay in the marriage, you can always pick up the chart of Salman Khan, राहुल गांधी जी, इन सब के चार्ट आप देख सकते हैं। आपको योगाज मिलेंगे, आपको समझ में आएगा that why these people are, someone like स्वर्गीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी did not marry at all. There are several charts that give you complete indication. वो सब डिस्कस करेंगे, लेकिन आपका बेस बनाना तो जरूरी है ना, आपको विवाह का मतलब समझाना, जो ग्रह इन्वॉल्व होते हैं एक पर्टिकुलर मैरिज के अंदर, और पहली मैरिज कहाँ है, सेकंड मैरिज कहाँ है, थर्ड कौन सी है, फोर्थ कौन सी है, फिफ्थ कौन सी है, वो बताना तो जरूरी है ना पहले। आई कैन गो टू दी एडवांस लेवल और आपको समझ में भी आएगा, लेकिन आपका बेस स्ट्रांग नहीं होगा ना, क्योंकि जब उससे भी एडवांस कोई सिखाएगा तो आप कहीं ना कहीं फंस जाओगे। अगर आपको बेसिक्स पता है, शास्त्रों में जो विवाह के बेसिक्स हैं, फिर आप नहीं फंसने वाले। आपको पता है 7th हाउस मारक क्यों है, क्योंकि वो 8th से 12th है, आपकी लॉन्जिविटी से 12वां है। आपको पता है कि वो सबसे ज्यादा कार्मिक सेटलमेंट क्यों है 7th हाउस में, क्योंकि वो छठे से दूसरा है। अगर छठे भाव की वजह से आपका जन्म होता है, तो सप्तम भाव की वजह से आपका कार्मिक सेटलमेंट होता है, और जब कार्मिक सेटलमेंट होगा तो सबसे ज्यादा दुख होगा जीवन। Ladies and gentlemen, this is the lecture for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. You've understood many things.